Welcome to Pumpkin Smash, a super fun throwing game for all ages. We hope you enjoy. In this game you will need some tall cones, some dodgeballs, some small balls to put on top of your tall cones for coconut shies, some cones to mark out your playing area, and lots of hula hoops. To build your hula hut, you need to place one hoop on the floor first. Then you put two hoops inside of that, and then they lean onto each other. Then you get, as you can see, the yellow ones here go in at the sides, the opposite sides, and pull them in. Don't pull them in too tight, otherwise the bottoms will lift up. And then you place one on top to finish your hula hut. This is your completed hula hut. Start by splitting your playing area into two halves. One team goes on one side and one team goes on the other. Each team must stay on their own side throughout the game. You then need to get your piles of hula hoops to be able to build your hula huts, or in this case your pumpkins, and they go on each side. And then you need your coconut shy style targets, your small pumpkins, to go just a bit in front of them. Again, you can get creative with this, so any style sort of target that you want to use you can place on each team side. If you've got any Halloween themed props you can use, works even better. You then have your fireballs or your dodgeballs or your goblin balls, whatever you want to call them, to be able to throw at the targets, and you're now ready to start your game. The game starts and both teams need to build their hula huts. Depending on the age of the students, you might have the hula huts already pre-built. As the game starts, the balls are everywhere, and you might have a player that collects the ball and they can throw it to try and destroy one of the other team's pumpkins, large pumpkins or the smaller ones. You will also have people that need to guard them and block the opposing team from knocking down your pumpkins and destroying them, so they can use any part of their body to block and guard. So here we've got someone from one team throwing it and destroying that team's pumpkin. Now, depending on the rules that you want to play, you can not allow them to rebuild it, so that's now destroyed and out of the game, and it's the first team to destroy all of the pumpkins on the other team's side are the winners. Or you might allow them to rebuild it as the game goes, and you just play for time, and then at the end of the time the team with the most pumpkins still standing, have the most points, are the winners. You can also have different points depending on whether it's the coconut style, the small pumpkins, or the large ones. So normally we play the smaller pumpkins because they're harder targets to hit. If they knock them off the top of the cones, then they can't be rebuilt and put back on. And at the end of the game, if you've still got those small pumpkins on top of the cones, they're worth more points. This game is really great because there's roles for everyone and there's so much going on. So here we've got some examples of some of the roles that the students can take up during the game. So they can be a builder and they can help build the pumpkins. They can be a protector and they can obviously guard and use any part of their body to guard the pumpkins. They can be a destroyer to try and break and knock down the other pumpkins from the other teams. And they can be a gatherer. They can go and collect balls, the fireballs, for their teammates. One of the main ways we like to play it is so that they play for time, and then at the end of the time, when the buzzer goes, whichever team still has the most pumpkins still standing are the winners. But for that to happen, we then give different points to different things. So the large pumpkins, or your hula huts, they're worth 20 points if they're still standing at the end of the game, and your small pumpkins on top of the towers, they're worth 50 points if they're still standing at the end of the game. And that adds an extra little element of tactics, so that they need to decide which to prioritize to guard, and again, depending on whether you want to allow them to rebuild or not, that adds another element of challenge for them. There are loads of ways that you can adapt this game and use different targets and different objects and change the rules to challenge them a little bit more. So you can really get creative, particularly if it's Halloween theme or a different Christmas theme. You can really get into this kind of game. We love the idea of creating double-decker pumpkins or hula huts and giving them a challenge that they need to do, whether it's throwing a ball into a basketball hoop on the other end, and if they manage to get it in, then they can go and grab 6 more hoops and they can build a double decker. Things like that just make the game extra fun for them. So get creative, and we look forward to hearing how you get on.